NFL first rounder James Pearce, Tennessee record holder Dylan Sampson highlight the class of 2022. We're going to re-rank that class here on a Look Back Wednesday.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey everybody, welcome into it, your Wednesday morning Locked On Vols. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. That is over at FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm your host, Eric Cain, host here of Locked On Vols, 5 days a week, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I'm a part of the VolQuest.com team covering Tennessee athletics on a daily basis. Got a fun show coming up here today, and everydayers. Yesterday was your show where I answered some of your questions. Couldn't do any of these shows without you. And become an everydayer. Check out the newsletter for the Locked On Podcast Network as well. That can be in your inbox daily if you so choose. But today's show is going to be fun. We're going to look back at the class of 2022 recruiting class for Josh Heupel and the Tennessee Volunteers. And we're in the offseason. We're about to venture on into summer. So I'm going to do the class of 22, 23, 24, and 25 here coming up over the next couple of days to weeks. And we're going to look back on some success stories, some failures, and where Josh Heupel and his staff really need to pinpoint efforts to get better, I guess, in terms of recruiting for this football program. So all that and more is coming up here on a Wednesday show. So we look back at the class of 2022, and this one's unique in its own respects because this was Josh Heupel's first recruiting class as the head coach of Tennessee. Now, the classes work a year in advance, so Josh Heupel got on the scene January of 2020, at the end of January of 2021. You're already working on the class of 2022, and when you're a new coach inserted into a new place and trying to make relationships with a lot of these recruits that the previous coaching staff was in on and recruiting hard and already had to campus for official visits and junior days and all that, you're behind the eight ball a little bit. And sure, Josh Heupel, so there was some crossover there. I mean, he knew some of these athletes Tennessee was already recruiting and all that. But, I kind of put a big old mulligan essentially on the class of 2022 simply because Josh Heupel was so far behind the eight ball. You remember, he was Tennessee's head coach, and then Ty Simpson, who ironically might be the starting quarterback at Alabama this year. Tennessee was very much in that conversation, and he was making his commitment known, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks after Josh Heupel took the job. And, of course, Tennessee missed out on that one. But, it's because Josh Heupel literally just got here, right? And then Tennessee tried to pivot to Sam Horn and behind the eight ball in that regard. And Sam Horn, of course, went on to play baseball at Missouri. And then Tennessee settled with Tayven Jackson, who I'll get into here in a moment. But my point is, you were so far behind, it necessarily doesn't qualify in terms of a full effort recruiting class for Josh Heupel and his staff. But still, there's a lot of great players in here that Josh Heupel and his staff picked out, signed, sealed, delivered, and went on to produce in a massive, massive way. So we're going to re-rank these rankings, and I'm going to tell you here in just a moment what the On3 industry rankings had this class first, and then I'm going to go through and re-rank them. Overall, this was a class that finished 15th in the nation according to the industry comparison commits over there at On3, 5th in the SEC. Tennessee was able to get 8 starters out of this class who have started football games in years past or this past football season for the Vols, and 13 contributors. That's a decent clip when you think about a signing class being somewhere around 20, a couple over, but mostly around 19 or 20. That's a pretty decent clip, but still there are some big-time misses in this class. We'll get to here in a moment. Defensive line, what a class for defensive linemen. Tennessee did an excellent job. Rodney, Gardner, Lavorne Harbin did an excellent job recruiting, signing, and developing some defensive linemen in this class. Offensive line should come as no shocker, but offensive line, some big old swings and some even bigger misses. Big-time misses on the offensive line from this class of 2022. So before we re-rank them in segments 2 and 3, who was a part of the class of 2022? Some of you guys are trying to sit here and rack your brain saying, oh, was Cooper Mays a part of that class? No, Cooper Mays was a part of, I want to say, guys, the 2019 class. He was 2020 class. It was a couple years before this one. Some of you guys are thinking, oh, was that James Pearce's class? It was James Pearce's class. In fact, James Pearce was ranked number 1 in the class per the On3 industry rankings. He was a 4-star, 5-star according to On3. On3 got this one right. On3 had James Pearce as the 11th ranked player in the class, the only 5-star. ESPN should come as no shock, had James Pearce as a 3-star and not nationally ranked. 247 Sports had James Pearce as a 4-star, number 173rd in the country, and Rivals had him as a 4-star and 180th in the country. But On3 was ahead of the curve on this one for sure. 11th in the nation for James Pearce, the only 5-star he got, and turns out he was a first-round NFL draft pick. That one was a big win for On3 and a huge win for Tennessee. James Pearce led the way for this signing class for the Volunteers, followed by Tyree West, who was a 4-star, and of course he's still a part of the football team. Addison Nichols, who was a 4-star offensive lineman, he is no longer here. Tayven Jackson was the quarterback in this class, a 4-star. He's now in his 3rd school. Joshua Josephs, a 4-star, was in this class. Number 5 ranked Tennessee player signed in this class, and of course he's still here. Caleb Webb was number 6. He's not here anymore. D. Williams in the NFL. He was at number 7. Justin Williams-Thomas. Ooh, what a name. I remember that when I covered that recruitment. He was ranked 8th in the class. All these guys are 4-stars until further notice. Squirrel White, wide receiver, was ranked 9th in the class. Dylan Sampson, 4-star, the 10th ranked player in the signing class for Tennessee. Again, this is according to the industry rankings over at On3. Getting into the 3-stars now. 11th ranked prospect in the class of 2022 for Tennessee was Chaz Nimrod, wide receiver. Wide receiver turned defensive back Cameron Miller, who finished his career at Memphis. He was at number 12. Jordan Phillips, NFL draft pick, finishing his career at Maryland, was ranked 13th, defensive lineman. Maurice Clipper Jr., 3-star offensive lineman. All these are 3-stars. He didn't finish his career here. Elijah Herring is now on to his 3rd school, I believe. He was the 15th ranked player, but he spent a year starting here at linebacker. Caleb Perry, who just left the program, 16th ranked player. Jordan Thomas, who's still with the Vols but can't fight the injury bug. He's the 17th ranked prospect in the class. You got Brian Grant, 18th ranked prospect in the class. Christian Harrison, who's now at Cincinnati, 19th ranked prospect in the class. Masai Reddick, Jason Jenkins, and Savion Herring round out the bottom of the list here. And Savion Herring. I had to refresh myself and remind myself who exactly was Savion Herring. He was a junior college signee, a part of this class, offensive lineman. And he didn't even make it a couple of games before. He never played, but he was kicked off the team for disciplinary reasons that first season. So that was the signing class for Tennessee. And in case you're wondering, the transfers that don't count into this equation here, pretty good transfer portal class as well. Brew McCoy, Gerald Mincy, who played a big role for Tennessee. Let's see here. Andre Turrentine, Wesley Walker, Lynn J. Dixon. Hello, we're going to step back in the Wayback Machine. Lynn J. Dixon was a part of that transfer portal class as well. Navy Schuler. So that was the class of 2022 for Tennessee. Now, again, this was 15th in the country, 5th in the SEC. 8 starters came from it, 13 contributors. Defensive line was really, really good in this class. Offensive line was really, really bad in this class. And to compare it over some classes around this signing class. In 2023, Tennessee signed the 12th ranked class in the country, 4th in the SEC. 2024, the 13th ranked class in the country, 8th in the SEC. 2025, of course, that's when Texas and Oklahoma, of course, joined the recruiting rankings in the SEC. 2025 was 11th in the SEC, 11th in the country, 8th in the SEC. And 2026, which is the class that's currently ongoing right now, Tennessee ranks 12th in the nation with 7 commits and 5th in the Southeastern Conference. So we're going to dive into this. I mentioned who the class was. Now that was 1 to 22 in terms of who was the highest ranked prospect in the class to the lowest ranked prospect in the class. We're going to split them in 2. I'm going to give you the top 11 re-ranking from the class of 2022 for Tennessee football. If we could do it over again here in segment number 2, and you shouldn't have to think too hard about who the number 1 overall pick's going to be, because obviously he was number 1 in the recruiting services, and he was just a first-round draft pick. James Pearce is going to lead the way. Who are the other 10? That's coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Speaking of full swing, Major League Baseball in full swing as well. Got games going on all the time. Every night delivers a highlight-worthy performance, whether you're on the hardwood, whether you're on the diamond, whatever the case is. Major momentum shifts. Can't miss moments, whether it's a game-winning shot, a walk-off home run, breakout player, there's even more time to get in on the action right now than over at FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off or before first pitch, live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have even more ways to get smart, to be smart and start winning big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could tracking their trends help you on your next bet? You can find all that and more over at FanDuel Sportsbook. You can get... You know who's heating up. Go ahead and slap that on the back of a same-game parlay and get some more coin in your pocket as well. $200 in bonus bets. As the excitement in this regard, I mean, how much money, what all could you do with $200 extra dollars, right? All that and more is over at FanDuel Sportsbook. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head on over to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. Not bad. Make every moment more with FanDuel. It's official sports betting partner of the NBA and is where you can make every moment more. So we are re-ranking the Tennessee recruiting class of 2022, and don't have to do a whole lot of work at the top. James Pearce was the top overall signee for the class of 2022 for Tennessee, and if we're going to re-rank them, we're not going to do anything different because James Pearce, of course, one of the most feared pass rushers, not only in the Southeastern Conference, but in all college football. Ended up being a first-round draft pick, had real momentum and real whole lot of pub and hype in the offseason heading into his senior year that maybe he can be a top 10 pick. Pro Football Focus is even touting that he could be their number 1 overall pick in the draft. Of course, that didn't happen, but a first-rounder is a first-rounder. Atlanta traded back into the first round to get James Pearce. They wanted James Pearce. Valued him as a first-round draft pick. So, obviously not going to move James Pearce at all. He was the number 1 overall signee for Tennessee in the 2022 class. He is the number 1 overall in the re-rankings as well here on Locked On Vols. Number 2, big movement here. Big movement. Dylan Sampson. Should have did this in my pre-draft work, but Dylan Sampson was the 10th ranked prospect in the signing class. He jumps up to number 2. That is a +8. He moves up 8 spots to number 2, and I mean, do I really need to explain why? Tennessee record holder for single-season rushing, single-season touchdowns, 4th-round draft pick, phenomenal football player, one of the best football players that have come through here during the Josh Heupel era. And Dylan Sampson, I loved him whenever I love the sign, or I love the commitment whenever he committed to Tennessee. Tennessee was still trying to get another running back in the class, and they ended up doing that with Justin Williams-Thomas. I'll get in here in a moment. But Dylan Sampson was first to commit in the month of June, coming off his official visit, and it paid off for him because he was Tennessee's best offensive player easily. Probably the best player on the team in 2024. James Pearce is at number 1. Dylan Sampson's at number 2. He moves up 8 spots. Number 3 is going to be Joshua Josephs, and he doesn't have to move up an awful lot. He was the 5th-ranked prospect in the class of 2022 rankings for Tennessee, +2 on the movement scale. Joshua Joseph is going to be the starting Leo for Tennessee. Played a ton as a sophomore, played a lot as a freshman behind Byron Young, behind Roman Harrison. Took a backseat to James Pearce the last 2 years, but he still played an awful lot. Pro Football Focus had him as Tennessee's highest-graded defensive player. Really, really good in terms of the technical stuff, really good against the run. He's got to get back there and get more sacks, but Joshua Joseph's a really, really good player. He moves up 2 spots from number 5 to number 3. Number 4 in the re-rankings is going to be Tyree West. He drops down 2 spots. I like Tyree West. I think Tyree West has got a whole lot of ability. He's very inconsistent. He had that coming out party essentially against Iowa in the Citrus Bowl to end the 2023 season, and then had a really, really good game in the opener against UTC in 2024, but very inconsistent. And the question was asked, who's Tennessee's best pass rusher right now on the team? And it might be Tyree West, to be completely honest with you, but you want some more consistency there from the 5-tech and the traditional defensive end. But Tyree West was a big signing day get for Tennessee, a longtime Georgia commit. I'm not sure if he was going to have a spot in their class in the end, but ultimately moved from Tifton, Georgia, by the way, moved from the Georgia signing class to the Tennessee signing class there. When I re-rank him, he loses 2 spots down to number 4. Number 5 is interesting here, okay? Jordan Phillips. And already, guys, this is the 4th defensive lineman out of the top 5, okay? Pearce, defensive lineman. Joshua Joseph, defensive lineman. Tyree West, defensive lineman. Now Jordan Phillips, all sandwiched around Dylan Sampson there at number 2. Jordan Phillips was the 13th rated Tennessee signee. I move him up to number 5, and so that's obviously going to be +8. +8. He didn't finish his Tennessee career. Tennessee liked him a lot. He played here his freshman year, then transferred out, finished his career at Maryland, and he was an NFL draft pick, 5th round to the Dolphins, I believe. So obviously very, very productive, still at the Power 4 level, and was an NFL draft pick. Hard to argue with those. Of course, he didn't finish his Tennessee career here, but if I'm re-ranking these recruiting rankings from the class of 2022, Jordan Phillips is going to be there at number 5, +8. Number 6 is going to be D. Williams. D. Williams came in at number 7, so this is going to be a +1. Returning kicks in the NFL, right? I mean, he was never a great defensive back. He was never a great wide receiver when they tried to put him out there. But returning kicks and punts, I mean, he was electric, right? And he's doing it in the National Football League right now, or at least he did it this past season. D. Williams, one of the most feared junior college returners. I remember I covered that recruitment. I would call D. Williams. I'd be like, hey, man, I see your stats here for, was it Weathersford College? Whatever college it was that he played for in the junior college ranks. And I'd be like, hey, they're saying you returned 7 kickoffs for touchdowns this year. Is that accurate? Is that for your career? He's like, oh, no, that's accurate. No, I did that. So I thought that was kind of funny. D. Williams there at number 6. Number 7 is going to be Squirrel White. I mean, is he the most skilled player in the room? No. Is he the most physically gifted player in the room? No. But he's been a good player at Tennessee. Kind of a down year here in 2020, 2024. Injuries, left his feet way too much. Of course, now he's gone on to Florida State. He's no longer a part of the team. But Squirrel White, he was a productive player here at Tennessee. So his ranking was a 3-star, and Squirrel White was, he was a 4-star. And Squirrel White was at 9, so I'm going to have him +2 up to number 7 in the re-rankings. Addison Nichols comes in here at number 8. Sure, probably overblown in terms of the ranking, overblown in terms of the hype. Of course, he's not here at Tennessee anymore as well. That's just the nature of the beast. I don't want anybody to get, in their feels here saying, well, Tennessee can't hold on to anybody. I mean, look across college football. It's kind of how it is, right? This is kind of how it is. I mean, this player's not here anymore. This player's not here anymore. Addison Nichols is now on his 3rd team. Left Tennessee, went to Arkansas. Now he's at SMU. Addison Nichols could never find his way in, on the field at Tennessee. He had every opportunity in the world. Every opportunity to start the year, the 2024-2023 season, as the center. When that ship had sailed, had every chance to start at guard. Never happened, and ultimately he left at the end of the year and went to transfer to Arkansas. Addison Nichols was a 4-star, highly ranked offensive tackle. Of course, he never played tackle, plays center and guard now. So he was number 3 in the class, -5 down to number 8 in my re-rankings. Jason Jenkins coming in here at number 9. This might be the biggest mover in the class. He was a 2022 February signee. The only one, okay? The only one. Everybody else did it in the early National Signing Day period in December. Jason Jenkins was the only one in February from New Hampshire. Of course, he's no longer with the program anymore, and that's a shame because I think he's a really, really good player. He had a role. He played a lot for Tennessee this past year, played a little bit the year before. Jason Jenkins was Tennessee's 21st ranked commit or signee in the class of 2022. In my re-rankings, he's all the way up to number 9, so that's +11. +11 for Jason Jenkins, probably the biggest mover. Sampson moved up 8 spots. Jason Jenkins moves up 11 spots. Coming in here, number 10, Chaz Nimrod. He contributed. He played. He stepped in. He was fine. Wasn't an all-SEC player, okay? Wasn't an All-American. Wasn't a starter, but he played a role for Tennessee. And when injury struck, he stepped in and made a couple of different plays. Of course, he's no longer here with the team as well. But Chaz Nimrod coming in there at number 11. He's up 1 spot to number 10 in this re-ranking exercise. The final one here in segment number 2, number 11 overall in my re-rankings. A guy by the name of Jordan Thomas. Jordan Thomas, it's unfortunate, man, because I covered his recruitment. Great young man. I remember he was committed to Mississippi State. I called him for an update. He said, hey, man, between you and I'm going to flip to Tennessee tomorrow. I said, hell yeah, let's roll. This is why we end this. Kind of get some quotes, kind of get all this ready to go. When you flip, he flipped, boom, ready to go. Had all my articles out there. It was awesome. We'll forever be grateful for Jordan Thomas for that. But it's unfortunate because he can never stay on the field. He's hurt. He's injured. And I hope that there's more football in his career. I just don't know right now. But when he was healthy, he did contribute. He did play. He started some games at safety, started some games at the star position in 2023. But his football career at the college level has been short-lived because he just can't stay healthy. But Jordan Thomas, he was let's see here. He was a 3-star. He was the 17th ranked player in the class. He moves up 6 spots to number 11 in my re-rankings. Again, my re-rankings are based off potential and all that, not necessarily based on potential. It's if I was doing this over again today, knowing what I know, how would I rank these? And Jordan Thomas, if healthy, I think is a pretty good football player. That's why he's still up here in the top half. So if I re-rank the class of 2022 for Tennessee, that recruiting class, number 1 would say the same with James Pearce. Dylan Sampson would be number 2. Joshua Josephs would be number 3. Tyree West, number 4. Jordan Phillips, who ended his career at Maryland, would be number 5. D. Williams at number 6. Squirrel White, who's now at FSU, would be at number 7. Addison Nichols, who's now at SMU, would be number 8. Jason Jenkins, who's now at Florida State, would move up 11 spots to number 9. Chaz Nimrod, who I don't know where he is. I'm sorry, I forgot. Moves up to number 10. And then Jordan Thomas moves up to number 11. Who's the back half of the class of 2022 re-rankings? Who's the biggest loser? And what position group has simply got to get better? That's coming up next, right here on Locked On Balls. We look back at the class of 2022 recruiting. Fun exercise there in segment 1, re-ranking the top half of the class of 2022. Big winners, of course, was Jason Jenkins up 11 spots, Dylan Sampson up 8 spots. Now, let's look at the back half. And guys, there are some names in here, guys and gals, there are some names in here that you have probably not heard of since A, they signed, and B, they transferred, okay? There are some names that even me, who's in the industry, covers recruiting, not as much as I used to, but covers recruiting, worked for a recruiting site, and does this show every single day talking Tennessee football, had to remind myself on who is who. There was I forgot his name right now. There was a basketball player that had a cup of coffee with Tennessee like 4 or 5 years ago. They transferred, what is his name? Transferred from Auburn. He was a shooting guard. Oh, I think my buddy was even, my friend Osborne was even texting me about it a couple weeks ago. See, I even forgot his name. Is it Powell? Is that his name, Powell? Anyway, I'll look it up after the show and know. But I saw his name written down on something. I'm like, who is that again? It was like the last time Tennessee did this was the starting 5, and it was like, I was like, who is that? Who is that guy? Like, that happens every now and again, right? And there's going to be some names on this back half of the list that's going to kind of stoke the fire of your memories a little bit, if you will. All right, number 12. If I'm re-ranking the class of 2022, I am re-ranking it at number 12 with Christian Harrison, defensive back. Christian Harrison, son of Rodney Harrison, covered that recruitment as well. Funny story about that at the airport. If you know, you know. Won't go into details on that one, but I'll forever have that memory. Great kid. Really enjoyed covering his recruitment. Always enjoyed speaking with him, walking through the facility at Tennessee. And I thought he had a good year. He got hurt a little bit. Of course, Boo Carter took over that spot. But I thought Christian Harrison had a pretty good year, honestly, splitting that position at the Star, specifically the first half of the year. Christian Harrison was Tennessee's 19th rated prospect in that class, and he moves up 7 spots to number 12. He was the story of fall camp, basically a non-factor, couple of injuries, and he was starting at the star position, and I thought he did a really good job. Of course, now transferred out to Cincinnati. Number 13 is going to be Caleb Webb. Caleb Webb, longtime commit for ECU, decommitted, came over to Tennessee, committed, flipped to Tennessee, 4-star rated prospect. Just never really got going here at the University of Tennessee, right? He played a little bit, but was never really a consistent guy, didn't see much playing time. Even when injury struck, it was always Chaz Nimrod that was kind of getting the nod over Caleb Webb. Long, explosive. I think there's some talent there. Now he's in Maryland, but Caleb Webb coming in, probably one of the biggest losers if I had to guess. Caleb Webb was at number 6 in this class originally, and now he's at number 13. So math would tell you that 4, that is 7, right? Minus 7 there for Caleb Webb. Number 14 is Elijah Herring, and maybe Elijah Herring should probably be ranked a little bit higher. Why? Because he was a starting linebacker for Tennessee for an entire season. Keenan Peely goes down in the third quarter of game number 1 in 2023 against Virginia. He's ruled out for the season, doesn't play the rest of the year. Elijah Herring steps in. He's your starting middle linebacker. And sure, there were some limitations there. I'm not trying to say there weren't. There were some limitations there. Tennessee did not run him off. He left, okay? Now he's on his third school as well. He spent this past year at Memphis. I'm not sure where he's going this year. I think he's back up in the Power 4 landscape. But Elijah Herring, older brother to Caleb Herring, who's still on the team, he was a starting linebacker in the Southeastern Conference. He had some limitations, sure, but he played here, and I mean, he contributed. He was Tennessee's leading tackler in 2023. So he should probably be a little bit higher on this list. But Elijah Herring coming in here at number 14. He was at number 15, so that's +1. Caleb Perry's at number 15 here. Caleb Perry, career reserve, career package player. When Tennessee takes the star out, goes to a 4-3 base and 12 personnel for opposing offenses, which is 2 tight ends. Tennessee put an extra linebacker out there the last 2 years. That was Caleb Perry. Rushed the passer a little bit. I think he's got limitations in space. I think he's a career backup level player type guy. Tremendous athlete, covered his recruitment out of high school. He pretty much did everything. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, defensive back, safety, defensive end. I mean, he played everywhere in Bowling Green, Kentucky, I believe is where he's from. Caleb Perry coming in here at number 15. That's +1 from his number 16 in the original rankings. Tayven Jackson coming in here at number 16. Quarterback of the class. Tennessee, of course, Josh Heupel was hired behind the 8 ball. Never had a shot of getting what's his name at Alabama. Ty Simpson. Pivot quickly to Sam Horn. Chose to go to Missouri to play both football and baseball. And then it was Tayven Jackson. And Tayven Jackson was a pretty good player. 4-star rated prospect. Elite 11 invitee, all that and more. Played here at Tennessee. They went out and got Nico. He, of course, leaves. Went to Indiana, where he's from. Started a couple of games, but never was able to hold down that spot. And ultimately now he's at UCF, I believe. So based on the trajectory of his career, he's down here at number 16. He was Tennessee's 4th-ranked player in that class of 2023, so that is -12. That might be one of the biggest losers of the class, for sure. We have a -7, a -12. Yeah, so far that's the biggest loser of the class. This one might be a big loser too. Justin Williams Thomas. Liked him. I know I always say I covered his recruitment. This is back when I covered recruiting on a much bigger scale than I am now. I think he was committed to Auburn, flipped to Tennessee, and then Auburn was calling until like the 11th hour that night before early National Signing Day. I mean, I believe it was Auburn was close to getting him to flip back, or wherever he was initially. Auburn was the one battling there towards the end. Signs with Tennessee, just doesn't work out. Doesn't work out at all. Transfers to Cal. I think he played 1 season at Cal, and honestly, I'm not sure that he even finished a 4-year career at the FBS level. Justin Williams Thomas was the 8th highest signee for Tennessee. He comes in here at number 17 in my ranking, so that's -9. Liked him. Good kid as well. Another good kid that I think maybe played 1 season after he left Tennessee at Memphis. Came here as a wide receiver. Came here as an athlete. Started a wide receiver and then moved to defensive back before it was all said and done. Cameron Miller from the state of Memphis. From Memphis, went back to play for the Tigers, but I don't think he played much longer in his career. Cam Miller was a 3-star rated prospect, 4-star rated prospect 3-star industry rated prospect for Tennessee. 12th in the class. He comes in here at 18 in my rankings, so that is -6. And then we've reached the point to where, thank goodness, there's only a minute or two left in the show because this is when it gets brutal. This is really when it gets brutal. I mean, so far, we've done the top we've done the top 18 re-rankings of this class. There are 22 total. There are 4 more individuals I'm going to get into. We've talked a lot about defensive line. Okay, we've talked some about wide receiver, some about linebacker, a couple of DBs. Defensive line has really kind of dominated this signing class. We've mentioned 1 offensive lineman. Addison Nichols, and yeah, that was the one that I could consider was probably a bust. He was 3rd in my re-rankings. He was 8th, so -5. He's on to his 3rd FBS school, of course. Offensive line was not good at all in this signing class, and here is why. Mo Clipper, who transferred out from Tennessee to Charlotte. I'm not sure where he's playing now, if he's still playing. Mo Clipper was Tennessee's 14th ranked prospect in the class of 2022. He comes in here at number 19 now, -5. Mo Clipper comes in at 19. Masai Reddick, who I believe is still on the roster but has never played a snap of football at all. He was Tennessee's 20th ranked commit from the class of 2022. He comes in here at number 20 in my rankings. Brian Grant, offensive lineman. He was high potential, former basketball player, had to put some weight on him and all that. Was very much a project at the time. I remember that for sure. -2 in my rankings was Tennessee's 18th highest ranked commit coming in here now, or -3 actually. will come in here at number 21 in my re-rankings. Just never, I mean, he's been here, practices, all that. He just never played and never will play, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see. But so far, it's kind of been the story for him. And then at number 22, rounding out the list here, is Savion Herring. He was a no-star out of junior college. And again, I mentioned him earlier, was dismissed a couple of months into his Tennessee career due to disciplinary reasons. That is one of those names where I had to be like, who was that again? Who was that again? Savion Herring. Herring, not Hyder. Not a 5-star running back Tennessee's after right now. Savion Herring, former offensive lineman that never lasted here at Tennessee, comes in at number 22. So of the final 5 picks here, 4 of them are offensive linemen. That just goes to show you that this class was a bust when it came to offensive line. And that's not great. We'll continue to see the trends, if any of that got better for the class of 23, 24, 25. 25 got better. David Sanders, hello. And we'll do that in the coming days and weeks. But again, I'll do the entire board over again, okay? This is my re-ranking of Tennessee's class of 2022. Number 1, James Pearce. Number 2, Dylan Sampson, moving up 8 spots. Number 3, Joshua Joseph. Number 4, Tyree West. Number 5, Jordan Phillips. Number 6, D. Williams. Number 7, Squirrel White. Number 8, Addison Nichols, down 5 spots. Number 9, Jason Jenkins, up 11 spots. Number 10, Chaz Nimrod. Number 11, Jordan Thomas, up 6 spots. Number 12, Christian Harrison, up 7 spots. Number 13, Caleb Webb, minus 7 spots. 14th is Elijah Herring. 15th is Caleb Perry. 16th is Tayven Jackson, minus 12 spots. 17th is Justin Williams-Thomas, minus 9 spots. Number 18 is Cam Miller, minus 6 spots. And then 19 is Maurice Clipper. 20 is Messiah Reddick. 21 is Brian Grant. And 22 is Savion Herring. Again, 4 of the last 5 in my re-rankings are offensive line. So, just kind of fun to look back. It's the month of May, right? I mean, there's not a whole lot of news going on, so we'll look back at some of these classes. Anything you guys agree with wholeheartedly, anything you disagree with, that I severely underrank or overrank somebody in the re-rankings of the class of 2022. End of the day, James Pearce, Dylan Sampson, big-time winners of this class, Tyree West, Joshua Joseph, some pretty good football players, a couple NFL players as well, D. Williams in the NFL, James Pearce, a first-rounder, Dylan Sampson, a fourth-rounder, so on and so forth. Jordan Phillips, of course, didn't finish his career here. He was a fifth-rounder as well. What do you guys think about the class of 2022, the one where Josh Heupel really didn't have a chance, in my opinion? Would love to hear from you at _Cainer and at Locked On Vols. All right, when we come back tomorrow, we'll talk with Josh Ward. We'll see if there's any news on some current Tennessee recruiting. We'll see. We can look back at the class of 2023. We've got a lot to get into tomorrow right here on Locked On Vols. It'll be a Thursday show. All that and more. Appreciate you guys for being here. Please subscribe to the channel. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. This is Locked On Vols.